Hey, hi everyone. In this particular lecture, we are going to learn about that how to read request body in Node.js HTTP module. Well, this particular video is going to be about the raw way, right? Without using any Express.js or any other framework, we are going to work with the pure Node.js that how we read the request body, right? So let's start, let's learn and let's understand that how actually the Node.js works, right? So for that, let's see here, we have actually built a basic HTTP means we have imported the HTTP module. After that, we have created this particular server, right? And we made our server to listen at the port number 3000, right? Now after doing this, what we will do, basically for the read, the request, right? Basically what we do there in that particular thing, we use these parameters, this request and the response, right? So let me show you that how it works. So first of all, we'll write if request dot method triple equals to post, right? And put double and request dot url triple equals to slash data, like this, right? Now inside this, let's write the let body, means whatever the thing that are coming from the client side, right? We are going to store it inside this particular body variable. And for coming any data from the client to the server, which method? That is post, of course, right? That's why we have written this request dot post equals to request dot method equals to post, and on the particular url, that is slash data, that we will see then we that when we will work actually, right, with the postman. So basically, let body equals to, let's create it a blank string, right? After that, we will do what? First step is to collect the data chunks. Now remember one thing, that whatever the data that comes from the browser or from the client basically to the server, that comes in the form of chunks, right? In the form of chunks means small data. So we need to collect all the data at one place, right? But one by one, means that every time when the data will come, I want to store it, right? For that purpose, we need not to create lot, number of times the request, right? So we just write request dot on, and then we put bracket. Inside this we write data, right? Data. And then you put the comma here, and after that, whatever the chunk of data that is coming, we write chunk, like this, chunk. And here we will write, basically that whenever the chunk will come, you do what? You just add that particular chunk into my body, right? So chunk. And one more thing that you need to remember is that, whatever the data that will come, we need to store it in the form of string, because uh, in our basically server, we store it in the form of string. So that why we used to write to string, like this, right? And then put the bracket here, and that's it, right? So this to string will do what? It will convert that particular buffer into the string. Now after doing this, what we will do, we will, when basically when all the chunk of data will be received, at that time we will do request dot on, and then put and inside and, like this, put the comma here. Inside of this, like, means after this, create a callback function, like this. And inside this, we will write that whatever the raw data that came from the browser or from the client side, basically I want to print that. So for that, let's write console.log, right? And inside this, let's write raw data, just to show you, right? Here we will write body. Got it? So whatever the data that has been stored inside this particular body, now we have actually printed it at the time when all the data will get received, right? Now after doing this, let's create the response, that is response dot right head, put the bracket here. Inside this, let's write the status code of 200, that is for the success. And then here, uh, give the content type, right? Content type as what? Application source slash JSON, application slash JSON. Now after doing this, let's do one thing, that is response dot end. In the end, we write response dot end, right? So response dot end, and inside of this we will write JSON dot stringify, and inside this let's give the message. Basically what I'm doing right now, basically I'm sending the response to the browser again, right, after taking all the requests. So whatever the data that you have entered, right, now I'm going to send that particular data to the browser. Now for sending the data to the browser on the server side, right, we need to convert it into the string format, right. That's why, since all the data that we have stored in the form of JSON, now we will send that to the browser in the form of string, right. So that's why we are writing json.stringify. Inside this we'll write message to be what, that is data received, right. After that put the comma here and write the received data, that is received it what, that is body, means that is body that we have received, right. After doing this, just put the semicolon here. Now this is the main part basically, right. After that we will create the else portion. So let's write the else here, and inside this I'll write response dot end, and here I'll say that send a post request, right. In case that person has not made the post request, I'll just send the post request. I want this to be sent in the else condition, that's it, right. And we made our server to listen to the port this. Now let's go to the Postman and see that how it works, right. So for that purpose, let's first uh, let me clear it first. Yeah, let's start the server, right. Node script.js, like this, and after that let's go to the Postman. Now here you can see the method is post and the URL is localhost 3000 slash data, right. Now after that, inside the body, we given the raw data, that is in the form of this. You can see the ID, the name, the role, like this, right. Now when I send it, let's see that whether it is working or not. So when I click on the send, you can see the message is that the data is received, and the received data is what, your ID, that your name and your role, right. So this is how we deal with it. And now if you go to the terminal, right, there you can see the raw data is what, your ID and your name and the developer, like this. That what we have basically done here, right. The raw data that we want to print. So this is what we received from the browser, and then we have shown it to the basically to our in our basically response to the Postman, right. So I hope you understood the concept very clearly about it, that how we deal with it, right. So this is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, then make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button. Goodbye.